Hey everybody, Dan here. I just wanted to let you know that we do now have a YouTube channel. You can go to YouTube and type in UP&GO W Muffins podcast and you'll find us there. It's also in the description below, and in our Discord you can also find a link to it. We do have video content coming in the future, so if you go ahead and subscribe to that, then you'll be able to see that as soon as it gets uploaded. I hope you enjoy the episode, and once again, that's UP&GO space W Muffins space podcast.
And 1 and 2 and 2 and 1. Oh shucks, I can't dance.
Hey everybody, welcome to Up&GO with Muffins. My name is Daniel, and joining me is my co-host Ethan, and also a special guest, Luke. Welcome, Luke. Welcome, Ethan.
Hey.
Thank you, Dan.
How's it going?
It's good to be back as always.
Yeah, it's going good. How are you guys doing?
To this.
Yeah, not bad. Can't complain. Keeping well.
Yeah.
Keeping busy.
Keeping well. Keeping busy. We're about to...
Can't just say the same thing that I am.
No, I'm not...
People are just going
to... saying the same thing I am. We're really not interesting. I mean, man, I don't get up much my weeks. It's just particularly this time of year, though, you know? When
yeah, it's a kind of
students,
lazy time of year.
Well, not even that. It's that we're still in level 2 of COVID.
That's true. There's no events. There's nothing going on, really.
There's nothing really
I did
happening.
want to go see a few musicals, and that's what I was really bummed out about, like, all the good ones being cancelled.
Oh, no.
So first of all, before we talk about anything, I just want to quickly say we have some topic ideas lined up and some guests or anything, but also if anyone has any topic ideas that they think would be interesting for us three to talk about, and maybe if there's a guest that we know, and you'd think would be interesting to talk with, then you can feel free to hit us up on any of our social media. We've got a Discord, we've got an Instagram, we've got an email. You can find them all in the description of this episode. And you can just hit us up in any of those places. And also with the Discord, just feel free to come and just chat about any of the topics we've talked about. And come
vibe.
Yeah, we kind of want the Discord. It would be cool to get it to be a fun place to just really chat, just hang out. Really, if we bring up something, and bring up something in an episode, and if you're interested in it, then you can talk about it, and other people can just respond and just have a good conversation.
We should probably look at putting that on like a Discord directory list so we can get some people to see that way as well.
I don't know what that
Introduced to
means,
the show.
but yeah, we should do that.
like a phone book, but for Discords, right?
Oh, okay.
So like some people kind of just like stumble into Discords and they just go, I want to join and talk about this thing.
Yeah, because as you know, we're one of the most reliable sources of information and fact on the internet currently. So
I've
Sanitarium fan club.
Like I said, we've got a Discord, Instagram, email. I've started thinking maybe we should have our own web browser.
Yeah.
I was thinking just becoming a mass conglomerate.
Sponsored by
Tor.
Tor.
The world.
Yeah. But what I was going to say before I interrupted myself is Hamilton the musical is coming to Disney Plus in July, early July.
I actually don't know much about Hamilton at all. The musical, that is.
That's the one about the American president, but it's not in the same time.
Well,
like it's about the American president Hamilton, but like it's done like modern day
Hamilton,
type thing, right?
No, it's not done modern day. It's about Hamilton. He never became president though, unless.
Oh, sorry, he was a general.
He's a founding father,
underachiever.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend I know anything about American history.
I didn't care about American history, and I didn't care about the founding fathers of America or whatever. But it is a good musical. It's it's coming to Disney Plus. So if you are interested in musicals, that's coming up.
Shout out Disney Plus.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure about it's my streaming service of choice at the moment.
Yeah.
Very impressed.
Yeah, me too.
It's pretty good.
I like National Geographic. I use a lot of that. And speaking of National Geographic, which takes you to many different places around the world from the comfort of your television.
Good segue.
And other devices. Today we're talking about traveling and just sort of where we want to go, why we want to go there, what's interesting about other countries, where we've been, general things that have to do with anything except. Well, I suppose we can also talk about our country because you don't get to get out around your backyard as much as you might think you do. But I don't know. Dan said something that just prompted a thing in my head, which is like an interesting hypothetical question. What place do you reckon is going to be the most interesting place to visit in the next 100 years? Like 100 years from now?
Huh.
Like for any particular reason, or
just what countries do you see developing in such a way that become like interesting tourist destinations?
well, what would you
like, do we
say?
expect the future to be?
Yeah, I guess. What would you say are those now?
Well,
I
mean, I suppose you've got the touristy destinations like you get like Tokyo, Japan, New York, those sort of like New York, I suppose Washington D.C. to a certain extent, Los Angeles, Las Vegas. Then you've got European places like Holland.
Yeah, I mean, like what I was going to say is like, I think it depends on what you're looking for, right? What the tourists are looking for. If you want somewhere, really cool technologically wise, or just big city wise, sure, Tokyo, New York,
like Akihabara and stuff.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. If you want something very, nature wise, like beautiful nature, obviously New Zealand's up there, right? For one of the biggest ones.
Well, 'cause, I get a lot of tourists.
If you want to go to clubs and gambling and stuff, you go to Vegas.
Historical stuff. You got, Israel, Greece.
The Middle East, really.
Yeah.
Just the Middle East has got a lot of ancient human things.
So it's really, I guess, it's all about what you're looking for in your tourist destination. I don't think like New Zealand is a big one, right, for tourism, but I don't think it's necessarily going to become any bigger. I think it's just going to sit where it is, nicely on its pedestal.
I concur.
We probably won't do anything too fantastical. Like we're not going to have an industrial revolution and turn into Tokyo.
No, not at all.
I doubt that very severely. But never say never. I reckon Japan is going to be really interesting in a few years.
Japan already is. I'd love to.
Mars is probably going to be on there.
Mars.
I'm not sure about.
Yeah, true. Actually, good point.
Sorry, what did you say? Next 100 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I can.
Well, because we're meant to be able to send. I believe it's projected at 2030 is when we can have people on Mars.
There's a manned mission allegedly that I heard last time I checked going
2027.
2020 something. Yeah.
2027 was that's the goal, but that's a pretty optimistic goal.
We're going back to the moon in it's either 22 or 24, I believe, is the next manned moon mission.
I'm really looking forward to space travel.
Well, surely the moon would be a destination before Mars, a tourist destination, that is.
I guess as a tourist destination in terms of like you would probably sell like the experience to rich people, head up there.
It'd be the most experience of going up in space and landing.
The moon would probably be more of a central hub anyway, because it's much easier to launch stuff into space off the moon than it is off Earth.
That's true. It's probably be like the petrol station. Like Christchurch is used as the last stop before Antarctica.
Yeah, or kind of like to get like if we want to fly overseas but we flew the whole way, we'd start off at Tauranga, fly to Auckland, and then that's where the international airport is. So I imagine Mars would be the moon would be more of the intersolar system rather than.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I also think there's definitely got to be a amusement park on the moon.
Oh, for sure.
That's got to happen.
An easy anti-grav room right there, rather than spinning you around really fast.
I like how we say cool. Anti-grav, but wouldn't anti-gravity technically just be like stuck on the roof? If it's the reverse of gravity?
I do mean low gravity.
No, I know what you mean. I was just thinking to myself. I was like, we say anti-grav implying no gravity, but wouldn't anti-gravity technically be opposite gravity, right?
No, because that in itself is gravity, isn't it? Just gravity the other way.
I don't know. Yeah. I'd have to ask Isaac.
Gravity. Yeah, I could Isaac. I'm pretty sure gravity is like. I forget how it's defined, but really it's like just heavy things pull other heavy things in, at its simplest. So I suppose anti-gravity is when you're counteracting those forces.
Yeah, so pushing yourself away from the heavy object rather than being pulled towards it.
Well, because for something to be like anti-grav, you need essentially an opposite force that cancels out the effect of gravity.
Yeah.
Because gravity exists everywhere, essentially. Even if it's not like a strong one, it's the frogs are gay and gravity is everywhere.
Everything with mass has gravity. Like we don't.
Yeah.
That's why we don't like weight is relevant to gravity, whereas mass is not. So, like, we don't weigh anything. The only reason we get a reading on the scale is because of the mass we have and how much force or gravity Earth is exerting on us is what gives us our weight on Earth.
But it's also, I remember reading something like gravity doesn't pull you down, it like pushes down on you.
Yeah,
so
it pushes down on you.
I do remember reading
which is
that
weird.
too. Yeah.
Because I remember it's like, it's not a thing you think, because you kind of, I don't know, if you're not a physicist and you're not really interested in stuff, you probably just sort of go your life, imagining that you kind of got like some like hook in your stomach or at your center of mass that the Earth is like constantly tugging on and keeping you in the ground. But really, it's like someone like with two hands on your shoulders, like forcing you down.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
Anyway,
the moon would be cool.
Yeah, I know we've talked about it in episode 2, I believe. But I would love to go to space. I'd like to, in my lifetime, be able to go to space. And
I would too.
I'm sure we will as well.
I'm sure it'll be available.
Doable. Yeah, available.
But it might not be readily accessible in our
lifetime.
It'll
be like an expensive thing or a thing you have to train for or whatever.
Well, not really. I mean, because when you're looking at,
Ethan, going to
if you
America is expensive. I'm sure going to the moon would be even more expensive.
But what I'm talking about is it's going to be expensive, but I mean inaccessible. I don't think so. I mean, people will easily spend, like you said, $2,000 on plane tickets. I don't imagine it being that much more, because when you look at the price of when the Titanic first set out, and then we had in planes and before commercial planes, so you look at how quickly commercial planes dropped in price.
That's what I was going to say. Once commercial rocket ships become more of a thing, and then they can just keep reusing the same thing, and then the real cost is fuel and maintenance, that'll be when it gets a lot cheaper.
Because I believe the current goal of SpaceX, which is the main sort of private sort of commercial space exploration company at the moment, is, although there are others, is their goal is to get the cost of launching a rocket down from like a big rocket from the current 60 million to about 60,000, and they're getting close.
Well, when the Dragon, I forget the proper name of the ship, the Dragon something, when that docked on the
Crew Dragon.
The Crew Dragon, yeah.
It's like the Dragon.
It's something Dragon. That was the first commercial, because they consider that rocket ship or spaceship, whatever you want to call it, a commercial.
It's privately owned.
Yeah, it's privately owned, but they still consider it a commercial vehicle. So as they start to get done all that track, it will begin to become cheaper. They're not building a new rocket every time.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. If they achieve their goal of having it cost 60,000 per rocket launch, if you can get like 30 people on, that's only $2,000 per people.
Exactly, and which is why I say they'll start using the moon as more of a central hub. They'll send little rockets up to up to the moon, and then because that's easier to launch, cheaper to launch, and then they'll launch the big ones from the moon, because that'll be probably close to the same price required to launch a big rocket from the moon than it is from a small one from Earth.
Yeah. It's also kind of the fact that there's only 2 days, like 1 day every 2 years, where like that's the ideal from Earth, the ideal situation to send to Mars, because of how slowly we kind of move around things. But I think because the moon is always moving around us a lot faster, I don't know if it necessarily would be more days, but I imagine it would, because the moon rotates around us. There should be
I see what you're saying.
chances.
It's one thing I realized far too late in my education, that not all the same planets are always in a line spinning around the sun. You know what I mean? Because you see depicted like they're always in a line, but there'll be like one every X amount of lots of years where they all do line up, but probably something detrimental will happen on that day. I've watched enough movies, but I one day I was watching a video and I was like, oh, hang on, why am I stupid?
Isn't that the plot of Hercules?
I wouldn't have a clue.
Hercules.
Did you watch Disney Hercules? Like, don't all the planets like line up, and that's why the Titans get released by Hades? It's a good movie.
You mean the animated?
There'll definitely be a plot to do with something like that.
There's something like that. We're like,
think about Thor, not Ragnarok, the second
planets
one,
align
the Dark
in the
World,
sky,
where all the realms align and then everything turns to poo. It's gonna.
That's what I was thinking of. That's not the planet,
that's what I was thinking
similar,
too.
Similar thing.
Same concept applies. Anyway, we're way off topic.
Not really.
Well, we're talking
space
travel, same
travel
thing,
is space travel is travel.
Okay, something like I wouldn't go on, but technology-wise, I think it would be cool. Would be kind of underwater cities and like tours in underwater.
Yeah.
Like I said, I wouldn't go on them, but I can imagine that would be kind of maybe a popular thing.
Be pretty cool to actually.
I don't imagine why that would exist though. Unless there was some necessity for it.
Unless there's
Because
somewhere
kind of
we
necessity
find
for
boredom
space.
under the water.
Yeah.
Like
That's
somewhere
true.
cool. Like if they find a cool ass underwater reef like way deep down, and they build something like a glass city that you can walk through to like see it all. That's
Realistically, you'd have to have a profit motive, so you'd probably be something like an underground like diamond mine or something like, right?
yeah.
And then you need something that lives there, like a place so that these miners can go live underwater.
Another movie plot is because the Earth's surface isn't habitable anymore, so we've got to go undersea.
Yeah, the two options again. It's going back to episode 2. Two options: space or water. And I think I've kind of moved over to the space side now. Actually,
Were you a waterman to begin with?
I was a waterman.
Oh
said
yeah,
water.
I kind of remember.
Has the
good, man.
SpaceX
You've come
launch
to the-
convinced you?
Yeah. I don't know. I also just kind of looked into like the fact that we actually have all the available tools to actually terraform Mars at the moment. Like it's going to take a long time. It's going to take like 60 years, 100 years. But we can.
But it is doable.
We can get Mars pretty livable, like without.
The thing,
like, obviously, it's going to take about. I think they said it's about 60 years before they can. They're essentially going to go global warm Mars by putting. Yeah. I believe the current plan is to put big space mirrors at the poles.
Yeah.
And to shine like the sunlight and to melt the poles down.
It'll definitely be interesting because the thing is too, it'll take 60 to 100 years with the tech now. Once they've been doing it for 20 years, the tech will evolve and they'll probably be able to shave off years as it goes. So it'll be interesting to see.
I mean, it's also interesting because those are NASA's numbers, and bless NASA, but they're always really conservative. Like for example, when we set up Spirit and Opportunity, rest their souls.
What's that?
Our dear little rover buddies. When we sent up our little rover buddies, Spirit and Opportunity, they were only meant to be there for 90 days, I believe. And Spirit was there for 4 years, and Opportunity lasted 15.
Wow. Yeah.
Did they get it stuck in a ditch? One of them.
Yeah, I think that was. Both of them got stuck at one point.
Yeah.
And they go around craters and stuff, but and it's crazy to think, when we sent those rovers in 2004, or was it 2008? Must have been 2004 because it's 2009. Yeah. It died last year, so
2004. Yeah. That is quite. Yeah.
And so we're actually just about to spin up a new one, and I think one thing I was really surprised at was like I didn't realize how quick it took to get to Mars. It's only about 7 months with current technology. Huh. And I don't know, I always have had it in the back of my head like it's like, oh yeah, it's 4 years or something like that.
I mean, that's so it's space travel. It's a long way around. A cool thing. Like I am excited to see the advances we get in space travel. Like,
yeah, me too.
Thank goodness for I was about to say Donald Trump. I meant Elon Musk.
Both are bad billionaires, so close enough.
We've got they got similar names.
Yeah, sure.
Hard to confuse.
No, it is. It's like Butterbar. Like
Elon Musk, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Next week on Daniel's nursery rhymes.
It's like a. It's like a.
Anyway, let's stay grounded for now.
Hey, nice.
Why? I have a question. What reason? Like, do you two both want to travel the world?
I did.
By travel the world, like, do you mean like around the world in 80 days?
No. I just mean, would you like to travel abroad and go to certain countries?
I'd like to go to a few places, but I don't have a real desire to go see everything there ever was and will be.
No, yeah, I want to travel the world. I want to go to a few different places. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not travel the world, as in, I mean, like, move around in some kind of methodical fashion where you go to every place and this, that, and the next thing. But would you like to go out, maybe like take a year off and just go where you want to go, sort of thing?
Yeah. I mean, personally, what I would do is I would make sure I had my motorcycle license, and I would just make sure that I go over to a country, I'd buy a motorcycle, in places for like Europe or Japan, and I'll just tour around on the back of it.
I guess that's the nice thing about Europe and America. Well, America's one big country, really, but like Europe and stuff is it's all connected, because we live on an island.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, you can just, like, I've been talking to like my friends over there. Yeah, they're just like, we just shot down to Germany for the day, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me it would more be it'd be like
swim across to Australia,
an after marriage before kids sort of thing.
Yeah.
Me and my wife, going to a bunch of different places. and yeah, just have a relaxing time. I'd especially love to go on a cruise, and you can get some cool cruises like overseas, where it takes you from
Tom Cruise. He's a
Bad
cool
joke.
cruise.
Bad joke.
Yeah.
Sorry,
With the-
I'll go
Ethan,
back
have you
to
got
my
the water
box.
spray this week?
No, yeah, I mean, I personally hope to go do my postgraduate studies in either Europe or the UK.
Okay.
And so that would give me a lot of opportunity, on the weekend to just go for a
That kind
bit of a
of leads
squiz or get out of a
into
couple.
what like the sub question to my main question was. It was, why would you travel? Like, is there a reason
Right.
you'd go, or so what
For the sheer
for you
pleasure
would
of
it
it,
be
for me.
study reasons and then kind of just travel because you're overseas, or
Yeah, I mean,
already?
I
or-
don't. I really like New Zealand. I don't really see myself ever not living here. So
I'm very much
as in
the
for
same.
long periods. I definitely, I'm a work focused person. I'll probably be taken different places because of that. But I do always want to sort of come back home to roost in New Zealand though. And so yeah, I kind of see going overseas and then taking advantage of the fact that I'm there for either work or study or some conference. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then just being able to enjoy the local sites because of that, like we'll take out an extra day or something.
Gotcha. Yeah.
For
What
me,
about you, Daniel? Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think it would be kind of like, I definitely want kids, right? When I'm married, I want kids, and I also want to be very much like a family dad,
Yeah.
as in like I want to, constantly be spending time with my kids after work, that sort of stuff. And traveling with kids, as much as I've heard anyway, is like,
Nightmare.
not the best way to go traveling.
Well, I can guarantee that because I worked in the tourism industry, and we used to have American families come over at like they'd fly into the country at 12 o'clock. They've got 4 kids with them, and they look like
Yeah. So, like,
shot, and just like does not look it's going to be a good time.
For me, it would kind of be like, just kind of doing it while I've got the chance, going out and seeing all these places, all these countries, and I don't think it'd be for any particular reason other than I'd want to, I just wanted to see this stuff while I can.
Just get out and see the world, sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, like, what other reason is there? Like, because like someone held a gun to your head? I suppose work.
Work.
We're gonna go see the Leaning Tower of Pisa now. You're gonna like it.
It's a tower that leans.
You're gonna
Funniest
take
thing
one
I've
of
ever
those
seen.
stupid photos.
The guy's got his gun to your head, and you're like, "Oh, are you paying?" He's like, "Yes." It's like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, sure,
Oh,
let's go."
It's just a very aggressive date.
Yeah.
We're going to the tower.
Yeah.
We're eating pizza and we're sitting on the grass, all right?
Now, I think this might be one of the legitimate.
Wait, can I answer my own
things.
question first?
Sure.
Yeah, I was gonna
Thank
ask you, Luke. I was gonna
Yeah.
shoot
Sorry,
back at
I
you.
forgot you didn't answer.
Speaking of pizza, the reason I think
You bastard! I was just going to say that.
the reason I think I would travel is for food. I'd travel
Yeah.
the world and
Right. Yeah.
go to different countries, go to like local food markets and try the food and cuisines and all that kind of stuff. Like, I've I've seen
just
pictures
sorry,
of
just quickly.
Sorry.
Just quickly on that side of things, the reason I'd be going is mainly scenery, as in like you
Yeah.
know, the places.
okay.
The culture, like people in culture, I find that very cool too. But very much it would more be like things, like like
Yeah.
actual
Yeah.
places and things.
Like I'd
No.
like to go see like the Grand Canyon or some of the other wonders of the like the pyramids, that kind of stuff. I'd like to see them with my own eyes just to get kind of that real life perspective, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also I've seen
Yeah, the sense of
pictures and
scale.
I know what they look like. You can't look at a picture of like a fancy dish or food and go,
Yeah. Yeah.
you have
Yeah,
to
no,
taste
I'm-
that sort of thing.
I'm with Luke on the fact that when I say like I'll travel for the pleasure of it, like definitely food, like a food tour, essentially. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to go live with go to like tons of different local towns. Always try like a neat little local dish or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'd be traveling for ideally. Scenery, I would like to see the scenery, but it's not like
Yeah.
But that
a
would be
massive kind
secondary
of
for
thing.
you.
Yeah, be secondary. Be like, well, I mean, the thing with New Zealand is
It's not a
go to the middle of the
yeah.
country in the snow. You climb up the mountain and it's a snow-capped whatever. Go down south, you can see similar stuff. There's beautiful forests down there. You've got all sorts of. Now, this country is very.
Yeah. We have a lot of beautiful scenery here already. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a thing because, like, if me and Luke really wanted to go see something pretty, we could go.
We just look into
You know,
each
we could
other's
get in the
eyes.
car. Yeah. We could just go drive to, I don't know, Tongariro.
Hey guys, there's a
or,
reason
you
I
know-
turned my camera on. You know, you don't need to go anywhere.
Yeah. No, but yeah, you can go look at one of our pretty things. But if
Yeah.
we want to have some nice food, like,
Yeah.
I don't know who's been keeping this a secret, but New Zealand doesn't have a good food culture.
No, I'll be perfectly honest. Look at it this way. I was thinking about this the other day. I don't want to talk about food too much, but if
I do.
when you go out, yeah, I mean I do too, but it's all we talk about, and I'm sure the audience is either loving it or sick of it. Let us know, please. Join our Discord. When you go out for food, you go out for Mexican food, you go out for Chinese food, you go out for Thai food, etc., etc. The list continues.
No one.
No
goes out
one.
for
You
New Zealand
don't
food.
go out for if New Zealand food. It's lunchtime. It's a pie and a blue V. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
I don't.
You might go to a steakhouse, right? You might
Yeah.
go to a steakhouse and
But it's the spur which
That's-
started
that's
in
almost
South Africa.
American,
I
though.
think
Yeah.
it's Spur's American.
uh,
But yeah, exactly. You
I
don't.
think you get American steakhouses, but you also get a lot of New Zealand
Like Lone
steakhouses.
Star's American.
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
Lone
same
Star is
even
really
in
American, yeah.
even in Italy or another European country, you'll go. You can either get the local food, where Papa whatever's got his restaurant where he's got his meals that have been around for ages, or you can
Yep.
go to the French place up the road. There's no New Zealand food places. They don't exist because
Actually-
we don't have cuisine.
Actually, I think pie. Like, I'm not being ironic here, but I think like
Mince pies.
pies are
Meat
like
pies,
well,
yeah.
no, not just mince meat pies and are like the closest thing.
Actually, that's kind of
but
true because they
New
don't really
Zealand- New
have
Zealand and
those
Aussie, right?
in America and such. Like you get like beef Wellingtons or kind of still a pie, but it's like not the pies that we know and breathe in this country.
I think we just don't think of them as well because the Aussies also have
Yeah.
pie culture is Aussie culture as well.
I think Australia and New Zealand is kind of in the same boat a little bit. I mean, aside from like pavlova, which is obviously a New Zealand dessert,
Yeah,
and other
that's
stuff like
yeah.
yeah, but it's not really a whole cuisine. You know what I mean? Like-
yeah, we don't have a style of eating besides sort of like putting.
Yeah, like
things
if you
in
think of
pastries.
Indian food, you think of curry, you think of garam masala, or however you say that spice name, and that sort of stuff, naan bread, all
Or like-
this, that, and the next thing. But then you think of New Zealand, no one thinks of New Zealand.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, that's
but
true.
I think you hit the nail on the head if you know a pile and a blue V can. Like,
Nothing wrong with that,
Pie
but
and
it's not.
blue
nothing-
pecan.
Yeah.
Because you joke about it, but like when I was working in the tourist sector, on my way to work, I would stop in at the petrol station and I would get a pie and some form of like drink where there was like a
Pie in a can,
most
yeah.
likely an engine. Yeah, pie in a can.
Pie in a can, yeah.
And
it's a very
I ate that, and then I would also go to the same service station for my dinner break. And so
Like I'm not saying we don't have like our own unique stuff, like pineapple lumps. V as a
we've
whole.
got some
Our
interesting
energy drinks are so much better than anyone else's. I dislike Red Bull. I love V is just so much better than any other
Rockstar's
stuff
pretty
I've
good.
had.
I've
And
got
what else
stick
is
up
there?
for
Like iconic stuff, pavlova, that sort of stuff. We definitely have iconic foods. LMP, for example, our ice cream is so much better than lots of other countries. But you know, there's not really like you don't
we have
go
individual
out for New Zealand
things.
food.
We don't
Yeah.
have like a consistent thematic like
Yeah.
food culture.
It does make sense because New Zealand's a relatively new country in the grand scheme
we're
of
also-
the world. But
Like if we look at it, we're also like a nation of immigrants.
yeah,
Like so, we've got like stuff
We're-
from
we're-
Australia,
we're a mongrel
UK.
country.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're all born here, but I'm the first Kiwi born of my family.
yeah.
Oh, the first Kiwi born. I thought you said only Kiwi
Yeah.
born for a moment. Then I was like, what?
No.
Yeah, 'cause
I do
and I
have
come down-
brethren.
Yeah.
And by where I mean us three, just for the
Yeah,
audience. We're all born in New
Yeah.
Zealand, but my family comes from abroad.
Yeah, well, I mean, my family stems from the native Maori people,
Mm-hmm.
and then Europeans.
Yeah, same as mine.
So
English and Maori.
Yeah,
I think
it's
mine
just
was
because
Welsh-
we have
Welsh and
such a integrated society and so many different
Yeah.
excuse me, nationalities and stuff living here that the food there wasn't really room for a new like obviously you have Kiwis. Kiwis are a very particular breed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can't like even though New Zealand is
slap a
technically
piece of cardboard on the barbie.
yeah, so many other don't say that. So many other people and nationalities and stuff live in New Zealand, but there is a Kiwi style, there's a Kiwi lifestyle, there's a Kiwi way. And the people here are very different to other people in the world, which is good. But there's not really there hasn't been much like progression or development, so to speak, of like Kiwi foods.
We're really more of a melting pot. Like we've just got, the Asians brought their cuisine. The Americans came over and they gave us Burger King and McDonald's. And the Italians came with their pizza and their pasta. The French came and we got some neat bistros. We've got quite a fair bit.
Yeah, exactly. Which is fine. But the thing is, I found too with food is like you go to like somewhere where it's a Frenchman who knows recipes from when he lived in France. Excuse me. He cooks them here and he makes the dishes, but it's not the same. It's just so different to actually going to the country and getting it not necessarily done properly, but done properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, it's like I said, if people are coming to New Zealand for tours, it's going to be for our scenery, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
It's going to be, that's what it's going to be for. Maybe some people might be interested in the Maori culture, and the history of that, but
you'd be surprised actually. Like almost all the tourists I spoke with were like, "Oh yeah, we're really excited to learn about the native Maori culture."
Okay.
Like way more than I was expecting. I would say like about 80%.
Heaps of people I've spoken to, tourists too. They're like, "Yeah, we went to Rotorua, we went on the mud walks, and we went to a bunch of the local maraes, and pardon my pronunciation, and all that kind of stuff." And they're like, "Yeah, it's really cool. We went and saw the poi dances and." Looked at I forget the terms. I live here, I should know these, but a lot of like the local stuff.
Yeah.
The native culture, yeah. I mean, I guess we kind of just accustomed to it because I mean,
Actually, let me just specify so I don't offend anyone. We do have hangis, and like the Maoris have quite a few very particular ways of cooking food. I completely forgot about that. I apologize to anyone who.
But
when we were saying New Zealanders, we're talking about on the whole.
Yeah, kind of just as a broad spectrum. Like
you don't go to a cafe and get a hangi, right?
Yeah, if there's a restaurant somewhere outside of New Zealand or even in New Zealand that specifically specializes in hangi food or Maori food or
that'd be kind of cool.
Something like that. Let me know because I'd like to. Check that out. If anyone knows about something like that, if there's one overseas, I'll be surprised. But also, that'd be really cool, actually. Hongi for the Americans and stuff who may not know if there's anyone's listening. It's Danny, you'd probably be able to explain it better than I am. I can.
I mean, it's essentially you bury the food.
No, it's not hangi. Sorry, not hongi. I'm even butchering that.
I'm thinking the one where Dan is where like they steam the food in like a pit.
You dig a hole.
Yeah. You dig a hole.
It's
you
like,
generally
get
some like rocks and stuff and I guess there's modern ways of doing it nowadays, but you you bury it and you wrap it up and you kind of cook it underground, and it gives it a very particular flavor. Oh, actually, sorry, just talking about this. I was talking to my brother yesterday about his dog, right? And because we were watching him, and he was he dug up one of his bones, went somewhere else, and then buried it again. But he buried it specifically like right next to a bunch of like rotting kind of Fijoa skins and stuff that we had thrown over the fence.
Ah,
interesting.
And Luther was saying apparently they kind of marinate them. The dogs marinate their bones and stuff.
I did not know that.
No, I haven't looked it up, so like always, take our word for fact. But,
take our word for fact, of course. We've all fact checked and been peer reviewed.
Yeah.
On the fly.
We speak with the authority. We're in fact charge of this scientific community.
But apparently they marinate them. They purposely find places to bury them, and they'll move it around to get different flavors on there. And I'm like, that's interesting. Yeah.
Oh yeah. On a quick side note, though, it's really funny listening to old episodes of like how confidently I'll say something where I go, "No, that's wrong." When I'm listening back to it.
You can't say that. Don't say that. Don't dox us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's it.
But normally it's like a slip of the tongue. Like I remember I was saying like, Pandemic was brought by EA. I'm sorry, Ubisoft, but it was bought by EA. All right. Like it's silly things like that. Right, man. I
join our Discord so you can yell at us when we're wrong.
Yeah. Correct us.
Sorry. Yeah.
I want there to be a Wikipedia of everything we get wrong.
A hangi, to be more specific, is you use heated rocks, and then you put the food on that and then bury that. Yeah. I didn't know. So I knew it had something to do with rocks, heat, and burying.
Yeah. The way.
Yeah, it's an interesting way. So that is something that is unique to New Zealand. I just forgot about it till now. But I don't know of any
Yeah, I don't think you
restaurants
can
that
go
kind of
somewhere to get
specifically
that.
go off Maori cuisine. You don't really go somewhere. It's more you get invited because the whānau
Yeah,
is
it's a family
doing a
thing.
hangi.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to
Yeah.
see like if someone built a restaurant like in some other country or wherever where
Re-
it was
real- Real quickly,
on.
have either of you guys had a hangi?
yeah, multiple times.
Once.
Oh, I haven't.
Once.
I haven't
Have
actually.
you not?
No, I actually haven't.
Really? I mean,
yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
something
I don't know if that's surprising or not, but
I mean, the opportunity just really hasn't come up.
yeah, I've been in a few not situations, but places where like end of year get-togethers or something will the staff or whatever at camps I used to live at will do a hangi or whatever. It's cool to see. It's not my favorite, I'll be honest, because like Daniel was saying, there is a very particular flavor, and it's not really my cup of tea. But I think it's
You can appreciate
I can
it.
definitely appreciate it, yeah. And it's a pretty
Yeah,
cool
well,
concept.
Kind of steering this back to travel again. Is there if you were going to travel for food, Dan, and what are you particularly interested in the type? Because I love market food. Like that's my thing. Is I love going to markets. I like if there's a cultural festival on, I'll go take like $50 and I'll just like get a little something from like every food store. Like that's my favorite way of eating, like just like kind of like snacking on rather than some people like going to restaurants and sitting down, but I like seeing what the locals and average people eat like on a day to day.
Yeah, that's interesting. So we went to spoilers. What? No, we went to Israel.
And before the answer to this for New Zealanders is up&GO by Sanitarium.
Sorry, yes, I would go to the Sanitarium factory. See the Sanitarium, see the up&GO waterfall.
Dude.
The Weet-Bix trees.
Would you? That'd be kind of funny though if they were actually.
And the Marmite mud flats.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What would you guys do if you went to the Sanitarium factory and it was kind of like a Charlie's Chocolate Factory deal?
Oh, that would be cool ass.
Yeah. And you went on like that boat ride with the hallucinogenic up&GO.
Hallucinogenic up&GO.
Ooh.
You heard it here first, folks. Sanitarium's latest product.
Coming up in 2030.
That is a lie. Please don't say.
However, if you think it's a good idea, hit us up in the DMs.
But to answer your question, Ethan, what was it? Oh, yeah. So we went to a couple of markets in Israel, and it was I quite enjoyed even just the feeling of it, right? The feeling of being in a local market, and it wasn't even like
fruit and stuff.
It wasn't even really like was it a touristy kind of? From memory, like there weren't too many it wasn't like a popular tourist market. It was just a local market,
Yeah, it's a local thing.
I may be wrong, but from memory, I remember and
obviously,
it'll
be catered towards tourists as well because they know that's where we'll make a lot of their money from. But it is still like a local thing. Yeah,
it was just a local market, and it was nice to it was cool to walk around and you'd see maybe an interesting fruit, and you'd want to try it or whatever. But I don't know if I was going to go traveling for food, I don't know if that's specifically what I would look for.
Can I talk about markets for a second before we move on?
Yeah, no, you go ahead because I've actually got to think about this question, the answer.
It's only been like when I was younger and stuff, and would go out into the city or whatever for whatever reason. Like I'd always walk past the markets and just be like, "Ew, yucky, that smells funny," and this, that, and the next.
Oh yeah,
thing.
like the melting pot of
the melting pot of stuff, and then everything kind of just congealing together into one smell.
It's not a great thing.
And like also the city, you also get the mixed over alleyway smells and all this, that, next thing because it's on a main street. But it's only been in like the last 6 months, probably even, because I've been watching like more anime or playing more Asian themed stuff or stuff that comes out of Asia more.
It took me 5 years.
Yeah, and they're huge on food markets there, especially in like Taiwan and all that kind of stuff. Japan as well. And I've been watching a lot of that sort of stuff, and I've been going, man, actually markets look really cool. So it's only been like, and then problem is now like we've been in quarantine essentially for the better part of 2020, so I haven't really been able to get out. But after this gets on, I'm actually really keen to go to some markets more and have lots of the food there. So it's actually it's
I
only
like
now I've
fruit-
really kind of
fruit
gone, wow,
markets are
markets are
great.
actually really cool.
The Caddy Farmers Market. You always get some pretty good food there, and I believe it's open up again. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's open up again. But I went, I don't know, 3 or 4 times in the past, or probably more than that actually.
Yeah.
And I did always enjoy like looking around and getting food there, but also I don't go anymore. But Mum and Miriam will sometimes go, and they'll bring back stuff. They'll bring back some nice food, and you always get some nice homemade stuff.
Yeah, I remember I always had a nice it was like a fudgy slice thing.
Yeah, I was always just chronically bored of them when I was a kid. I'd be dragged around and look at the stalls and look at foods and stuff, and I was just like, Mom, I want to go home. But now, and then I've kind of just maintained that mentality since. But now I'm like kind of going, I actually want to go to some markets and look at local stuff and have good food and whatever. Because a lot of those people they actually care about what they make and what they do.
Yeah, no, that's always what I feel good about is when you're buying from markets is you're also supporting like small business and someone who is it's not going to some corporate guy, it's going to someone who's going to put that into feeding his kids or feeding helping them out, and that's a really cool thing. And that's I really enjoy the market culture. And actually, I was reading something about the day about food specifically, that in terms of the harm we have on the planet when produced by agriculture, if we all were buying locally, like that would be significantly reduced. And so like in the future there's going to be like a big push towards like locally sourced foods. Like that's the way to like ethically consume, rather than sort of like it's better to have for the planet, it's way better to have like locally sourced things than stuff that's organic from China or I don't know, Taiwan or America, who knows.
Yeah, it's always baffled my mind that the bigger part of our produce goes overseas and we get left with the scraps.
Yeah. Just answering your question, Luke. I may or may not have just Googled different food types around the world. But I just got reminded that like a type of food I love is like Thai food, right? Like
Thai's really good.
Everywhere we've gone,
I like Vietnamese the best.
Like wherever we've lived in the different cities, we've gone to different had different Thai restaurants we've gone to and whatever.
Yeah.
And I do really like Thai food, but I think the type of meals I'd want to try is kind of the don't know how to describe it, but just kind of like a thrown together feel, if you know what I mean. Almost like a stew, but not necessarily a stew. But you've got a bunch of vegetables in there, you've got a bunch of meat, you got some pasta or whatever.
You're just describing minestrone.
I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, I don't think it'd be the fruit. I don't think it'd be like sweets or anything. It would just be kind of your homemade meals, that kind of thing, if you know what I mean.
The one thing I would be very interested in, because we don't get it in New Zealand, like pretty much at all, is like artisan candy, like candy shops, like a place where I don't think we've got a place where like people get sugar in, they make a big pot of taffy and they stretch it and they flavor it, like stuff like that.
Yeah, right. True. I saw a bunch of those shops in America when I was over there, and those are cool, man. I always watch those videos on Facebook as well when they pop up on my feed.
Yeah. It's like 7 minutes of some guy pulling taffy.
It's like, oh.
I love watching that. It's like so satisfying to watch it go from like this like amber syrupy thing into like this white stretchy.
Yeah. Where have you guys been in the world?
Just Aussie for me. I'm pretty boring.
Just Aussie?
But I've been around I think I've been around the New Zealand the most out of all of us though.
Have you like actually been to a lot of New Zealand?
Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty much. I think I've gone around both islands at least once. I've been around the South Island twice, and I obviously get around because of doing some jobs and going around for fencing tournaments.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll come to me and Luke obviously about where we've been, but we'll stick with you, Ethan, for a bit if you don't mind. Just like what has been probably your favorite things that you've seen in New Zealand? Yeah.
Oh, I love
or in Australia, if there was anything interesting in Australia.
I like the theme parks in Australia. That's about it. Sorry. I like theme parks a lot, actually. That's kind of an exciting thing. Like, that's probably the only reason I have a desire to go to America is go to Six Flags, Disneyland, stuff like that. I really love theme parks. I just think they're neat. Now, for New Zealand, in terms of the situation, I mean, the South, personally for me, the South wins out because I love mountains and that type of terrain. The South does not have very nice beaches. So if you're a sort of, the very north of the island, I think I might love the most of all, though.
Which island, North or South Island?
North Island.
Okay.
Out by Kerikeri, the Bay of Islands.
Yeah, Doubtless Bay and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, really, really lovely. It's the best of both worlds because you get it's the closest to the south, but it's you get the more moderate temperatures.
Because you and me went up to Doubtless Bay those years down. You remember that we went up.
Do you mean Douglas?
We went to Coopers, didn't we?
We went to Doubtless Bay's kind of the whole.
Oh, okay.
Bigger part of it.
That is lovely. That is lovely up there.
That's the first time I'd really been any more than like an hour and a half more north of Auckland, because that was like a 7-hour trek up there, and that was lovely up there. It's so different but the same.
Yeah, I've been to Kerikeri, but one, I don't remember it very often, and two, I don't think we.
Kerikeri, the town itself, is not very interesting.
Yeah, I don't think we went out of the town.
The area is quite nice. Like if you know someone who's got like batches up north, lovely. Now, as for the south, I really like the fjords. So I like the north of the north and the south of the south. I love. I really, really like Dunedin. I don't live there. I don't have really a desire to study there, but as like a place to I see why the population is like all old people. It's like a lovely town.
I think Dunedin is like the Parnell of the South Island as a whole. It's expensive to live there, and it's a lot of flash places, and it's a beautiful place, but it's super.
Not so much flash, definitely historic.
Yeah, historic, and
they're not.
You
they're
do
nice,
got to be
but they're
pretty
not
wealthy
flash.
to live in Dunedin, I think.
Yeah, like
I don't think it's. I think it's still cheaper than.
Oh, is it
I think
still?
It's on par with Tauranga.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I always.
It's a port city. Port city's always rather cheap.
As far as I was aware, it was quite an expensive town, city.
I'd have to check.
I might be wrong.
But, yeah. But
yeah.
We're both right. As this is a factual podcast,
because we're always
definitely
right. So
yeah, we're always right.
All three of us
always
at
right,
the same
even when
time.
we contradict each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, but yeah, as for the south, the fjords are really lovely, which is the bottom left for anyone. Milford Sound is the one everyone goes to, but Doubtful Sound is the beautiful one. Milford Sound's obviously very beautiful, but Doubtful Sound is where the tourists don't go, and so you get like a far more sort of. There's not 100 people there, sort of interfering with your experience.
Better not be more than 100 people.
Yeah.
Auntie Cindy will find out.
Well, you know what? Who knows? By the time this comes out, we may very well
we might go to be level 1.
Yeah, that's possible.
It's possible. Unlikely, but possible.
I always find it like throughout the week, I keep checking the stats, right? We've still just got that like one guy.
Oh yeah, that one guy.
Yeah. And like, I don't know the age, but like, let's say he's kind of a 20 to 30. Or...
Nah, I think it's like 30, 40.
Okay, but like if he's like watching stuff like stats websites or whatever, he's got to feel like real crap. Just being
he's
that
just watching
one
go.
guy left.
I'm so sorry.
I just
always go, stuff you guys. One of the two. Make for a good story. You can tell his kids, I was the reason that it got held up for so long. Yeah.
Yeah. I was, kind of watching
myself.
I've been, just for a quick tangent, I've watched like some sort of like zombies and apocalypse movies, and I've been playing The Last of Us again. And this kind of thing makes me realize that, oh damn, if a zombie outbreak does happen, the government's going to let no one have any fun, and it's going to be over soon.
Yeah.
True that.
It's like, don't get killed. Don't go to use a hatchet.
Hey, I've been practicing with my hatchets,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have my chainsaw sharpened and ready to go. What are you talking about?
What you talking about?
Probably on the FBI watch list, to be honest.
Yeah, no, but being on the down the very south of the island's lovely. I like Invercargill a lot. I mean, no one lives there, but it's really nice. Invercargill has a nice beach, actually. There's some nice places in between. They're just not very interesting. I've driven the island. that's a good experience. I think everyone should have is driving around the country themselves. Because I've driven from Auckland to Christchurch, so it's a fair way. I mean, I haven't driven from Auckland down to Invercargill, so I didn't go the whole way, but I've driven from Christchurch to Invercargill. So
that's quite the trek as well.
Yeah, I mean it's a fair bit. You get a lot of driving. I got a blister on my feet from just having my foot rub against the innards of my shoe so long.
Very good.
What about you, Luke? Sorry, were you done, Ethan, or was there more?
Yeah. No, I don't have too much to say.
What about you, Luke? Where have you been, and what parts of your travels stand out to you as like really memorable?
Yeah. I haven't been overseas since I was 17. So a lot of my travel has been
that 5 years ago?
Yeah, it was. It was what? 4 years.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's been a minute, and so a lot of the traveling. Like I've been to a few places. I've been to America. I went to California. I've been to South Africa, Johannesburg area. I've been to Aussie multiple times, but mainly Sydney area. I had a layover in
I don't like
what's
Sydney.
the one? North Brisbane, I think. But I didn't leave the airport there. We're just stopping over because I was heading over to Papua New Guinea, and those are the only other countries I've been to. So, like the Papua New Guinea one was a missions trip with church, so that was more work than travel holiday. But still, another country, got to see some cool stuff. America was a holiday and a travel thing, but I went on a summer camp, so I was more kind of secluded to one spot. Like we went around San Francisco and stuff, but it wasn't so much scenery as it was.
Yeah, you guys are out in California, right?
Yeah.
You didn't go outside of California?
I didn't, because me and my one brother went to a summer camp kind of on the border nearing Oregon, and Mum and the other boys drove all the way through Oregon up to Washington State.
Oh.
So yeah, it was nice to go to America, meet some of the, made some new friends, saw some of my other friends and stuff. But I didn't really travel around so much. Like we toured San Francisco, and then obviously we bussed all the way up, so I got to see some places and whatnot. But
San Francisco's pretty cool.
I
like
like San Francisco.
Hills and it's city.
Kind of all the sands in that area, because we landed in San Fran, but we were staying in San Jose, I think is where it was. Yeah. That was quite nice. I quite liked that area. But yeah, so I haven't really traveled much as like my own adult, being an adult myself, rather. You know what I mean? But yeah, I've been to like up until when did we go to Christchurch, Ethan? Because I've only been to the South Island once.
It was June or July 2018.
Yeah, I've only been to the South Island once,
June.
Which I flew down with Ethan. And we didn't leave Christchurch, but that's the only time I've ever actually been to the South Island. So I'd been to South Africa before I'd been to the South Island for the longest time. And yeah, I'm terrible with my New Zealand stuff. I haven't been to so many places. And I was talking to Sarah, who we had on the podcast the other day, and because she made a point, she said she'd much rather travel domestically, like go around New Zealand as a tourist and like experience our own country because of how much stuff we have here before really bothering to go overseas. And I was like, that's a good point. It's actually a very good point and idea.
You've really got a good month of stuff to do in New Zealand.
Yeah, there's heaps of stuff to do.
In terms of things that are in like, as a tourist, there's really, unless you want to really take your time, you can do about 2 months. But if you're kind of just going, we'll see this thing, that was cool, let's move on.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff is more.
Then it's about a month.
Like attractions or whatnot. Like in like you come to New Zealand to.
You can do the north in about a week.
Yeah, you can do the north pretty quick.
A week and a half, and the south you can do.
Yeah, well, it depends on how much scenery versus like going jet boating or going on the canopy tours. Not canopy, canapes the food, canopy the trees.
Yeah,
always get it mixed up. Canopy. But yeah, like canapes. I'll tell you later.
I tell you one thing I do want to do. I'll just is a motorbike tour across Thailand, and you can do.
That'd be interesting.
Because they're advertised pretty heavily, and they're not that expensive. They're about $2,000, excluding flights. But for a motorbike hire, food, accommodation, that kind of thing, for the most part.
Yeah.
It's pretty reasonable.
Here's a question. It's not really a tourist. I guess it is kind of a tourist attraction. If you were given the opportunity, like lots of time to prepare, lots of time to train, and prepare for it.
Would you fight God?
Would you climb? Would
funny.
you climb Mount Everest?
Oh,
Yes.
Like
so
you,
you said, given the time to train and everything, and the equipment.
yeah, some of your
and
mates are like, hey, let's do Everest. So you'll take time off work, you save up money, like you don't have to just pay out your pocket right now. You've got money dedicated to it, to flights, travel. You spend like however much time you need training, preparing, getting ready for it, plan out your trip. Would you agree to go?
The reality, yeah. So what I've heard,
Would you, or I
actually,
guess rather, would you like to climb Everest one day? Is that like something like a lot of people like, I want to run a marathon, or I want to do this, or I want to do that? Is scaling Everest something you could potentially see yourself doing?
I would like to, especially because what I've heard is due to the fact like Sherpas and
Sherpas?
sort of tours, they're like mountain tours.
Oh, okay.
Like they take up people up and up the mountain, and because since it's been done, it is so much easier to do now since they've got all the paths and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's not hard, but it's a lot easier than when Hillary did it.
It's definitely hard, but it's just walking up a hill, mate.
It's just a very big hill,
It's a massive
especially since I think they like fly like you can't like.
There's some people who have scaled Everest listening to this just going, guys.
Yeah,
it wasn't easy.
No, but I think I think
I think I know what you're saying, Ethan.
The Instagram people.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying as well.
No, I think for the Instagram people, there's like literally a base camp that's only like 100 meters below the summit that people like can helicopter up to.
Oh, right.
And
If
then
they want to
like
just
walk up 100 meters to the top, and then they take their photos, and they go off. And it's like I would like if I was going to do it, I'll do it properly and like hopefully I wouldn't do it dangerously because
I don't know why you'd
like push myself.
Don't mean to be interrupting.
No, it's fine.
I was gonna say I don't know why you'd want to like. If I was going to do Everest, I'd want to do Everest. I'd want to scale the mountain. I wouldn't want to go fly up to the top just so I can say.
Don't just want the virtual internet point?
Oh, I've been to the top of Everest. I got a selfie up there. Yeah.
Like
because you cheated.
Other things I can understand, right? So we I was going to talk about it a bit later. When we got to me, but like we went up Masada, right, in Israel, and like that still has a cool as ruin at the top. So I can imagine flying up to Masada. Well, there's a like a gondola type thing, right? Going up the gondola just so you can get to the ruin and see that around, right? That I'm like, yeah, sure. But like a mountain, I feel like the whole point of it is to scale that mountain,
Yeah, exactly.
See, the thing is like, I would like to do Everest, but the fact that so many people have kind of devalued the achievement, I'm not sure if I would. But maybe do something equivalent to like what Everest was.
Okay.
Like I think it would be.
Like
I'd like to run one of the islands.
Fusion energy.
I would like to
go across the Grand Canyon in a motorbike on a big jump.
No, that would that would be cool. I don't think I'd got the stones to do that. But no, I think I thought about running the islands once.
Running the island?
Like going from staying at Cape Reinga and running down to UP&GO.
Okay. Yep.
I mean, it'll take you like a good couple bumps, but because I think it's like, yeah, I mean, it'd be very brutal on your body, but I think it'd be like, how long did it take to scale Everest? Was it a month?
I don't actually know.
2
I
months?
don't think it's that. Well, it's definitely a sizable amount of time. If I had to guess, I'd say like.
Oh, I see you guys got your like search.
Say you get like okay conditions and you get like blizzarded in once or something. Maybe like 5 days. 5 days to a week, maybe.
Yeah, but I'm wondering how long did it originally take?
Did it take Hillary?
Yeah.
You do it on a tractor.
What? Probably. That's New Zealand after all.
Yeah. He's on our $5 bills, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry, like, were you done talking about like the stuff, stuff that are taking, what's the word? Stuff that had stuck out to you, and your travels to America and around here. You haven't gone around here much. I think you said, but
one of the most different things, like jet lag sucks. It was very weird flying out on Thursday night and landing in America on Thursday afternoon. That was trippy. But I think one of the main differences I noticed, aside from being in like other English speaking countries, like a lot of our phrases and stuff they don't understand. I don't understand. Same way around. That was a bit kind of like, huh, interesting. But I think like I'd say, use a phrase that I'm used to, and they go like, what? Or it's strange being the one with the accent as well. But I think the key difference, I know, like a lot of places in New Zealand, especially kind of around the Central Island, Rotorua, Taupo, the kind of triangle from Rotorua to Taupo, kind of up to wherever the triangle would meet. That area is quite similar to California. I was driving down there on those kind of long, semi-straight, semi-windy roads where it's just trees and like a lot of open expanse and stuff like that. I was like, this looks very similar.
Yeah, down by Taupo is pretty cool.
That's my favorite part of the island. That kind of area looks pretty similar to California and stuff. I was driving down there going, this looks the same, essentially. But the key thing that I noticed that was really like, I'm clearly not New Zealand, was the climate. Like,
right, yeah, it was very hot and dry.
Yeah, it's America in Northern California anyway, in the more summery months. It was like just dry. There's no New Zealand is even if it's hot, the wind is never hot. There's always a cold breeze because there's like always a southerly coming in. But America, it's hot and the wind is hot and it's just dry. Like my nose and eyes were just dry so much of the time. Versus here, there's always a cool, quite what's the word? Just a cool breeze in general that keeps you that balances it almost. Mm-hmm. And then if you contrast that to Papua New Guinea, it's hot and you walk outside and you'll just get soaked because it's so humid as well. So New Zealand can be humid, but America, when I was there, was not humid at all. It was just hot, dry, and just hot. New Zealand's like hot, but there's a little bit of humidity and a cool breeze. And then Papua New Guinea, that place looks very different because it's tropical anyway. So that is clearly different to America and New Zealand. But you contrast that to the weather. It's hot, it's raining, it's still hot, it's humid as you sticky or soaked always, even if the sun's shining. It was like, oy. So I think that was probably the key difference that I noticed. It was like, yeah, you can clearly tell you're not in New Zealand.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you, Dan?
Sorry, what was that?
I was just going to say when we left New Zealand, I was wearing my New Zealand clothes because it was cold. Yeah. Got out the plane. It had been in aircon climated, controlled areas all the way from getting into Auckland Airport to when our plane landed in PNG, and we got out the plane to walk across. You just get hit with the humidity. It was like, I'm not ready for this. Same when we finally got back. We got back in the airport when we left. When those Auckland doors opened to like go back outside, just the cold hit, and we were just like, oh, this is so good. Beautiful.
Yeah. Speaking of airports, how about LAX? Because like I
haven't been to LAX. My family has, but they said it's awful.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but terrible things about LAX.
You go to one side, and it's a good like
LAX.
It's the
LAX is
big
the main
Los Angeles airport
in Los Angeles.
Okay.
You go to the wrong gate, and you got to walk like 2 k's to the other side. It's huge. Airports stress me out more than hospitals do, honestly.
Yeah, I hate airports. I work for them.
Yeah.
Do you guys know the Denver International Airport? Like,
I've heard
of it. About. So it's obviously the international airport for Denver. So
Yes.
Is that the one with all the controversy? I can't say that word.
Actually, it might not be the Denver International Airport. One of the airports in Denver.
I feel
Denver,
like I
Colorado?
watched a video about this the other day.
It is the Denver International Airport. Anyway, I'm not going to go into it, but if you want to just hear about
it's rumored to be cursed or got some like really weird stuff going on.
It's got really wacky paintings. It's got a wacky statue.
It is. I watched it. I don't remember it, but I don't remember much of it, but I watched a video by the infographic show or something on YouTube the other day about it, and it was like, whoa, that's freaky.
If you're into that sort of stuff, like wacky conspiracy sort of stuff, I'd recommend like either searching it up on YouTube or one of the podcasts I really like, Death by Monsters. They did an episode on it, and it was really good and interesting. And it's quite fun to just watch and see.
Yeah, it was a very interesting watch. I don't really like conspiracy theories and that kind of stuff, but this one was very interesting. So I'd recommend it if you want something to do.
Yeah. Colorado is an interesting space in America. I've heard. I would like to go to. I like. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I really like the old like stories of like the wind. What do you call them? What are those Wyoming things? The big tree walking things. The name's on the tip of my tongue.
Not sure, but go on.
Like I just thought it'd be fun to go to the places where like Bigfoot and sort of like mythical creatures exist. Air quotes within air quotes. I'd like to go like
Loch
to those
Ness.
local places. Loch Ness, yeah,
That sort of stuff, yeah.
they're kind of cool.
I think my favorite climate in general is probably alpine. I love alpine stuff, pine trees and foresty and log cabins and wood cabins. Oh, they're just so cool. That's the one thing I like about America, being in kind of near Oregon, California area, was just like the log cabins and that kind of like the smell of pine in the air and that kind of stuff. It was really nice. I was like, dang, I could live here.
Actually, the one thing I was thinking about what else I would travel for specifically, hunting would be one of them.
Oh, okay.
Like I wouldn't mind going like hunting in Alaska.
How easy is that to do though?
I think it's a matter of having money and knowing the right people. So yes and no. But like if you go talk to like if you go to like hunting and fishing in New Zealand and you get to know the hunters there, then they know someone who knows someone type thing. And so then if you want to go over and you've got the money to do it, then you can pretty much go and do it.
Okay.
Gotcha. I'd like to do more hunting. Well, by more I mean I'd like to go hunting to begin with. Like it was something that.
Yeah. Have you been deer hunting?
No, I've actually not been properly hunting.
Yeah, I'm with you, Luke.
Just been pest control.
Like my like dad used to take us fishing and stuff, but we never like a lot of my mates and stuff have been hunting, but it was more when they were younger and their dads would take them out hunting. And my dad wasn't in those circles so much. We went fishing quite a bit, but we never went hunting. I'd like to go hunting sometime. That'd be fun.
Hunting and fishing are great because it's like how we would normally go on walks and just talk to guys for a while.
Fishing is such a no. I'm not saying girls can't go fishing, but it's such like a bro activity. You take a 6 or 12 pack out, go on the boat, you just fish. You don't go fishing to sit there in silence and try catch fish to get your dinner. You go out for the bros, man.
Go out to hang out. You go
about
for the
life,
company.
and fish are just a bonus. We should go fishing sometime.
We should.
Yeah, we could record. We could somehow take something, record a live.
Take a podcast.
Yeah.
Live stream.
Up&GO goes fishing.
Just make a podcast while we fish.
Sponsored by Sanitarium.
It's meant to happen.
Yeah, Up&GO fishing.
We'll do that we can try to do that for a special sometime.
If you go sponsor us on Patreon, we could fund it.
We don't have a Patreon.
No, we don't.
Very good.
It would be fun to go
cool,
like
though.
fishing and hunting though. I mean, yeah, hunting might upset the vegans, but I don't think we've really got any following. So,
if you're a vegan, join our podcast, Discord, and let us know.
Vegans don't fish, don't have feelings.
Careful now.
Things, but
He doesn't mean it, vegans, we promise.
we love you.
He doesn't. I do.
Oh, okay, Daniel. So direct all your flame at him.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh well. Yeah, but no, it would be going hunting. Like I wouldn't do like big game hunt, like dickhead hunting.
Yeah,
like
of course.
As I would call it, like going to kill lions or giraffes.
No,
or like
that's not hunting. That's like committing felonies.
That's poach. It's poaching with extra steps, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like I mean, granted, there are like sometimes where like a lot of people get like upset over like lion hunting, but most of the time it ends up being like there's a old male who's been disruptive and needs to go.
Yeah.
And so the reserve will actually call you in.
I've got a travel related question once you get done there as well, Ethan. So I kind of cut you off there. Go on, finish up.
Yeah, well, I mean, like it's actually people kind of think that like stopping big game hunt. If you care about animals, you kind of need big game hunting because some of these guys will pay like $300,000 to hunt a lion, right? And so what they do is they go, you can kill one lion. They kill the problematic one, and they take that $300,000 and they like invest it in keeping the rest of them, like running the reserve.
So I support that. Like that's fine, but people who just go out there because they want to take out that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's like or like the you know how the Chinese would or the there's a huge demand for like rhino horn and ivory
in China.
Yeah, because it's an aphrodisiac.
Huh? Okay, I wouldn't have thought that would have been a big thing over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a huge thing. Ivory in China and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Along with like shark fins and stuff as well.
And like tigers.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Anyway, I have a question, but I've remembered that we didn't actually talk where you've been in the world, Daniel. Do you want to touch on where you've been?
I've only been to a few countries. I think less than you, Luke. More than you, Ethan. But the main place that I went to was Israel. Right, so I've been to Australia quite a few times, but mostly it's been staying in the cities, like staying with family and everything. And I haven't been to any. I've been to theme parks here in New Zealand, right? But I mean, compared to the rest of the world, we've got pretty shoddy.
You mean all two of them?
Yeah, all two of them, yes.
Two of them. Oh, Splash Planet.
Planet.
Rainbow's End and Splash Planet.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
They're pretty shoddy compared to the rest of the world, obviously, but that's all I've been to. So,
Have you really not been to the Gold Coast?
No. So when we went to Australia,
we should totally do a trip there.
My parent.
Really, you've not been either, Luke.
Nope.
I'd be keen for some
We need to
sort
go
of
there
theme
and
park.
go to like Movie World and Dream World and things.
No, because my older sister lived in Adelaide, so we went to Adelaide quite a bit, and then my second older sister used to live in Canberra, right? And so we went to Canberra, and those were the only places I've been. We went to Sydney Airport, but that's it. Did we even? I don't even know. But yeah, like. So I haven't been to any of the theme parks. That's something I'd like to do in America. Not necessarily like Six Flags and the big roller coaster ones. I do love roller coasters and stuff, but I'd be more interested in like Disney World. You know, like the especially like the Star Wars and Marvel places and stuff like that. You know, that's kind of what I want to do.
Tickles your fancy.
But my favorite parts of Australia is easily like the wildlife reserves. Do you guys ever go to?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I went
in South
Sunshine
Africa,
Coast,
not
I think
in
it was.
Australia.
Oh, okay.
I went to Steve Irwin's one. I saw Bindi.
That's cool. That is
I had a crush
really
on her
cool.
when I was younger.
Oh, she's
married
now,
now, I think.
so,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
know, but this was back in 2012, so like she was still like the object of my young infatuation.
Object? Are you
Just
objectifying women, Ethan?
Hey,
Shh,
I'll kick you out of the
Cut
podcast.
that out.
No, that's not sanitarium friendly.
That's not
I had a
very
big crush,
sanitarium of you.
I mean, it's not really on the topic. Yeah, no, I remember having a big crush on Bindi Irwin when I was younger.
We all did.
I honestly like I didn't know she existed till like after Steve died. All the Steve Irwin stuff we watched didn't really have her in it. Yeah. But no, I love the wildlife
family.
reserves.
They do the Lord's work.
I do quite like Steve Irwin's son. He's just like, you know, he's essentially a clone
Robert,
of his
whatever his
father.
Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
National treasure.
But yeah, especially because like I remember one time I went to a wildlife reserve and I was just like, there was a kangaroo on the ground, right, and like it was just friendly, so I knelt down. I was just there petting this kangaroo, and this other one.
Was it a kangaroo or was it a wallaby?
No, it was a kangaroo.
Really? Kangaroos are pretty massive.
Yeah, it was big. It was
You've
like
got balls.
it was friendly. It was like yeah. And
Yeah,
then
no,
like,
those things are like spooky though.
and like while
have you seen
I'm
like videos
there,
of kangaroos like choking out dogs?
Oh yeah. No, they're pretty nasty. But like while I was there, it like adjusted itself so that it was kind of leaning on my lap, and it was like I've got this photo somewhere of me with just a kangaroo lying on my lap, and I'm just petting this kangaroo.
That's pretty cool.
It is. It's really cool, and we got to carry a snake and everything.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like snakes.
But yeah, but like
I don't like poisonous snakes. I like snakes.
this was a boa, I think, or some kind of constrictor.
Constrictors are real
Yeah.
neat.
It definitely wasn't a poisonous one. Venomous one.
Yeah.
Venomous? Venomous.
Venomous.
Yeah.
Poisonous is you consume, you
Yeah,
die.
yeah,
Venomous
yeah.
is it bite, you die.
But yeah, easily like the place that's had the biggest like impact on me in my travels is Israel. And again, easily that was like the scenery, especially the historic scenery.
I mean, the Middle East is just really cool in general.
Yeah. Like it was kind of cool too to like you could be driving. You know, we stayed in Bethlehem, right? Bethlehem in Israel, and
not Tauranga.
Yeah, no, not in Tauranga. There's nothing to see there. Why would you want to live there? And we literally had to drive through the borders, you know, because
Yeah, like Jordan.
Yeah, Bethlehem
Palestine,
is
is it?
in Palestinian control, I believe. And yeah, you had to drive through the border, and it's kind of like not quite the same, but kind of like that same feeling of like what you were saying, Luke, about they literally can just drive to Germany from France
Right,
or
yeah.
whatever, and like there was at one point where I could stand somewhere and I could look over, and there was Jordan, or whatever, or like just another country, and yeah, it's pretty cool. But I loved. So for those who don't
Did
know,
you go to the Dead Sea?
the Dead Sea.
So in Egypt.
That's the really
So in
salty
Egypt-
one.
The really salty one,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
The real gamer sea.
no, we didn't get to go there. We did go to the Red Sea, and I got to swim in the Red Sea, and and it was cool because it was my first time seeing like tropical fish.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
So I got to like not proper snorkeling, but just the cheap $2
kind of
snorkels.
just see them vibing, yeah.
Yeah, just like
Did you swim in the Jordan? Actually, no, you don't swim in the Jordan. That's yuck, isn't it?
no, it is yuck. Mum and Dad went in there, I believe.
Yeah.
There's an official place you can go, which is where they believe John the Baptist baptized Jesus.
Oh, cool.
And in fact, in that place, from memory, there's like a rope, because on the other side is Jordan, the country that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's a rope between it, so that people
Good
from there
border
can
control.
baptize people. But we didn't go there. We went to a smaller place that was just it was still Jordan, but it was somewhere else. And Mum and Dad, I think, went in there. But no, it was I wasn't interested in swimming in there. It was quite yuck. But
Yeah.
But like, just talk about John the Baptist. So like, for those who don't know, but I'm sure most people do. I'm a Christian and I believe in the Bible and all those stories. And so it was cool to see like the historical stuff for that, right? Like we went to
like locations that they're meant to
like
have happened
we
in.
went to Capernaum.
Did you go to Gethsemane? Gethsemane?
Yes, we went to Gethsemane. We got to go to like Jerusalem, the old city, and like,
The old city, yeah.
and like we even walked around the walls, which was really cool.
The Wailing Walls, are they?
No, just like the oh, I don't know, but like just the main walls, like the walls of the city,
Okay.
where the guards would have walked and everything. The
neat.
Tower of David, and it was just, for me, that was the coolest part. Easily, is just seeing all these historical. I'd never seen like really ruins before. We don't have ruins here in New Zealand. We're not, like you said, Luke. We're
We've
not
got like
old
some
enough.
little old castle things, but yeah.
Yeah, we've got. What's that one in
Nothing
Dunedin?
really too
Larnac
interesting.
Castle.
Yeah. I'd like a castle.
That's cool, but yeah, there's a castle that used to be owned by Gabby's family or something like that. Gabby's my girlfriend. Something like, somehow it's connected to her family, and it's in England somewhere. And I want to go there. It'd be cool to visit there at some point.
That's neat.
But yeah. Have you guys seen ruins? I guess you wouldn't really have been anywhere that has ruins.
Not that I
Not
can
like anything interesting.
remember. Not like anything like, oh, that's crazy.
I saw the Cadbury factory, and that may as well be ruined, considering how shit it is nowadays.
Not like not ruins
ruins
like
of once
from
good chocolate.
ye olde times, so much as more like suburban, not suburban,
Right, yeah.
urban kind of stuff. I don't know if you've seen, Bear Grylls did an episode where he did a Man vs. Wild in like a completely deserted old city or something, and that was pretty cool. So I've seen stuff like
does
that,
sound
but
pretty
not
cool. I haven't seen that.
It's a good one, but not not. I don't think I've seen like castle ruins or stuff like that. I've seen an old trashed World War II air base on a tropical
That's
island
pretty cool.
in Papua New Guinea. We stopped our big ship we were on. We all swam across to this island and we goofed around there. It was beautiful,
That's
actually.
cool.
I forgot that
I want to
went
go see
there.
the old.
Yeah, there was an old
sadly,
landing strip and what was kind of left of a air base that was there World War II times, which we went and looked for, that was pretty cool. But yes, I've seen that, and that's the only thing I can think of that I've seen that's kind of ruins from a time past, so to speak.
Yeah, just from not going overseas, really, besides
Yeah.
Australia, which hardly doesn't have ruins to the best of my
Yeah.
knowledge. Just haven't seen any. But I'd like to go see like the old castles in Japan.
England, Japan.
Japan.
What castles?
Yeah,
Do they have, like, kind of-
well, they're not like castles like European castles, but
More
they're
like
Japanese
fortresses?
castles.
Strongholds
kind of like
and
the old
stuff.
forts.
Do you have anything else to say about Israel, Daniel?
Just it's the only other thing I was gonna say is it's easily like one of my, like, it's at the top of the list of places to visit, even though I've already been there it's
Yeah.
definitely like I want to go back.
On your like South tour thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because what I was going to ask, and feel free to let us know where you'd want to go as well, is if someone came to you and they were like, pick a country, and you get to go there for a week, indulge in the culture, take part, see the country, travel it around, that sort of stuff. Just one country to like spend and really kind of get involved, see this, etc. You know what I mean? What country would you pick to go?
You asked this on episode 2.
Did I?
My answer is still the same. Yeah, you did.
Oh, here's my
answer
memory
is still
for
the
you.
same.
I think my answer's
Still the
changed
same.
though.
Yeah, for me it's I think you said France or Israel, didn't you, Dan?
I said Israel first, and then I changed it to France. And but I think it is Israel. I think I just talking about it just reminded me how much I really enjoyed
being there.
at the time. It was actually quite stressful just for a lot of things, but
Yeah, well, I mean, you're like 16 or something. It wasn't.
yeah.
It was like a working holiday as well, kind of.
Unrelated, we were helping out at church, but unrelated to Israel itself is why it was stressful. But looking back on it, I'm like, man, that was such a great time. Especially when I'm married, I'd love to take my wife there, and easily Israel would be where I'd want to go back to.
Cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think my answer's still the same. Japan, I like the culture, I like the food.
Yeah, Japan would still be mine. Completely forgot that I asked that. Huh. Yeah, Japan would still be mine as well. Let us join the Discord and let us know where you'd go if you had that
please
option
do,
as well. If we ask questions and stuff, jump on and let us know the answers. It'd be cool to hear.
Discuss amongst yourself, children.
Maybe we'll when this episode airs, which will be we're recording this earlier than we normally do, so it'll be in 2 weeks' time. But I might, if I remember, I'll try and actually plop a question out there in the general chat of the Discord, asking people where they would go if they could just go somewhere and experience everything. Really,
They're like the moon, and we're like, well, we got the episode coming out for you.
Yeah. And believe it or not, we did in fact cover that. Yeah.
But yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, so no, I think this has been good. I think it's been fun. I would definitely like to do more travel than I have done in my life.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, definitely me,
Absolutely.
because I've done by far the least.
Yeah.
Like I was
but
saying,
I mean-
I think I would like to travel New Zealand more before I go too far abroad. But
I think you guys have kind of convinced me on that too. Like, just thinking about there's a lot I haven't seen in New Zealand. And,
I mean, it would always be the option. I'm not sure, but I'm not back in Christchurch yet, so I mean, heck, we can do a road trip down there.
yeah, true.
It's always an option. But
Always
that's a discussion for another time.
Exactly.
But anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in. We had a lot of fun talking about this time, I'm sure. And
I love how people say tuning in. Like other podcasts,
like a radio thing, yeah,
So,
like
it's
like
a
language
radio
like.
station.
Yeah.
Like
Some
tuning
phrases
in,
just stick around. Yeah, please jump on the Discord, come engage,
Talk to us,
conversate
please.
with us.
We're so
give us some topic ideas, answer some of our questions. Even would love to hear some feedback, hear back from you guys.
Yeah, and feel free to ask any questions. We've got a whole chat. I made a whole chat in the Discord called Q&A questions, and we've had one question.
What was the question?
It was Jonathan asking if he could be a guest. Which, absolutely, Jonathan, we will bring you on at some point to talk about music. But yeah, feel free to ask questions. If we get enough questions, I would love to do kind of a Q&A.
I'd like to do
Yeah,
that too.
yeah, it would be fun to do a
that'd be fun.
total Q&A episode at one point.
So just hop in the Discord. Feel free to chat about stuff. Feel free to send links or anything that may be interesting, maybe related to
Most
what
of
we're
us are
talking
pretty
about.
active.
Yeah, I'm on Discord if I'm home generally from work.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. I this week, although it would have been 2 weeks ago now, but I just put out a blog recently on Friday.
Oh, yes, Dan.
Oh yeah, true, you did.
Yeah, Friday morning. Before Friday morning, I decided to put out a blog, but I released it Friday. And yeah, it's something I've just been thinking about lately, and it's something I really enjoy doing, and I think I'll keep it up for quite a while. And so I'll put that in the link of this description, and you can check that out if you're interested. It's kind of just it'll just be me talking about whatever I want to talk about, really. Yeah. So it's just that, and other than that, I hope you've enjoyed this episode.
Now
And,
it's just time to go to bed.
Yes, it's time to say goodbye and good night.
Bye-bye.
Farewell.
Goodbye.
Stay well. Bye.
Auf Wiedersehen.
In the backyard factory, you